Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk a little bit about Forza Horizon 6. It's going to be a big video today simply because we're going to go over all the problems with the game, all the things that the developers absolutely need to change so the game holds up better in the long run. This video is a follow-up to one I released about 2 weeks ago that was about 20 minutes long, in which, well, I showed you with supporting figures that even though Forza Horizon 6 really blew everything away when it was released, it was a game where the hype died down very, very quickly, and that was already starting to lose a significant portion of its players. In that video, we discussed numbers, and I shared some personal examples of annoying aspects in the game, which might partly explain why players left so quickly. Today, we're going to go much deeper into the analysis. Since that video came out over the past few weeks, I've really spent a lot of time analyzing all your comments on it, but also on other videos that covered similar topics, as well as on certain Discord servers and specialized forums about Forza Horizon 6, simply to make an exhaustive list of all the major problems that Forza Horizon 6 absolutely needs to fix in order to continue being a good game in the coming years. Now, just to be clear, I'm not making this video today to bash Forza Horizon 6. As I already mentioned, I think objectively, it's a very good game. At least, it's a very good game if you're discovering the Forza Horizon series with this Forza Horizon 6. I'm also not targeting the developers, since we know they can't just do whatever they want on Forza Horizon 6. They do what Xbox, the publisher of the game, asks them to do. They're just following orders. So if I'm making this video today, it's not to go after the game. It's more to try to help amplify all the things you tell me in the comments. Simply so that together, we can share our best ideas with Xbox, so we can make a bit of noise about the game. To clearly explain what's wrong and exactly what needs to be fixed quickly in Horizon 6. So, if you agree with some of the things I'm going to say in this video, and you want to simply make sure that this video has a chance, one day, to be seen by a developer and taken into account by Xbox, and that Xbox finally makes the right decisions. For Forza Horizon 6, think about sharing this video on social media, and don't hesitate to leave a like, because those are really the two things that will give a video a chance to be seen by more people. And so, maybe change things a little bit for Forza Horizon 6. I didn't necessarily plan for this video to come so soon after the first one, the one where we were just, well, pointing out that Horizon 6 wasn't really in a good place. Meanwhile, something happened that sped up the process of making this video. And there was the reveal of Season 4, and Season 4 was really a season that got people talking. About the game, we really started to see criticism multiply rapidly on social media. For the simple reason that Season 4 is exactly the kind of thing we don't want to see anymore, actually, in Forza Horizon 6. Season 4 is really a season where the laziness and recycled content were dialed all the way up. If we look quickly, 3 out of 5 new cars are returning from previous Forza Horizon or Motorsport games, so they're not exciting to unlock for players who have played the older Forza titles. The 2024 Camaro is simply a slightly updated version of the 2017 model, so it feels a bit redundant. And on top of that, the only real new car is the Honda NSX. It's not a car that was highly requested by the community, and it's not a very hyped car either. So even though it's not a big deal in itself, sometimes we do get bad seasons in games. Forza, let's say it was kind of the last straw. It was sort of a trigger, which really made people start massively criticizing Forza Horizon 6, and pretty much all of them pointing out the same problems. So all these big problems that I listed for you by looking at your comments, there are still 17 of them. There are 17 things that the developers absolutely need to work on. The first big problem is obviously the festival playlist, which has really become a chore. Actually, the original purpose of the festival playlist was to bring new content for free to Forza Horizon 6 every week. But, well, new content, we just saw that wasn't true when talking about Season 4. The vast majority of the content in the festival selections is recycled from previous Forza games. But above all, the festival playlist itself is absolutely not new. It's exactly the same structure as an FH5, it's the same types of activities, there's no surprise, no innovation. Back in the Horizon 5 days, we felt it was similar to Horizon 4 with the festival playlist, and hoped for changes even then. Still not, and still not even after 4 or 5 years since the release of FH5. There really should have been something done about this gameplay loop that is the festival playlist. Really, it should have changed. Because instead of having something fresh and motivating to do every week, well, we end up just starting over again. Exactly, the same festival playlist routine in Forza Horizon 6 is the one we've already been doing for years in Horizon 5 and Horizon 4. Right now, on top of that, the fake FOMO still hasn't really been fixed in Forza Horizon 6, which means that even if we don't want to take part in this festival playlist, even if we think the system is really super annoying and repetitive, well, we're still forced to take part in it, just to make sure we can complete our car collection with all the cars from Forza Horizon 6. Let me give you an example. For instance, the Toyota Celica GT. It's a car that can only be unlocked through the festival playlist in Forza Horizon 6. Even if we're not necessarily fans of this system, if we want this car, we'll have to go through it. As a result, well, we don't play Horizon 6 because we want to anymore. We play it because we feel a bit obligated to. And the only times it's really motivating to do the festival playlist are when the reward is really worth it. Except, as we just explained, the problem is that in Horizon 6 so far, that's happened very rarely. It might have happened a little bit with Season 3 when they added the Temerario, for example, which was a car that was highly requested by the community. But aside from that, most of the time, the festival playlist rewards aren't motivating enough to make it enjoyable to play this playlist. That's the other major issue with Forza Horizon 6. Recycled content, and very little truly new content added since launch. For example, look at the festival playlist. So first, historically, the Mazda Cosmo 116 is a car we already had before in previous Forza games. If you look at Season 1, for example, what kind of cars did we have? We had the Furia, which was a return from Motorsport 4, the Altezza, as well. The 97 Skyline, which came back from all the previous Forza Horizon games. The STS 209, which returned from Horizon 5. And the Starlet Gansas 5 Reigned. That was the only new addition in Season 1. Moving on to Season 2, what did we have in Season 2? We had the Porsche that came from Forza Motorsport, the Golf Rally, which was the only new car of the season, then the Cerbera, which returned from older Forza games, the SRT-10, which came back from Motorsport 4, and the MGTR, which returned from Horizon 5. It's the same for Season 3. As I was saying, we had the new Temerario and also the De Tomaso Pantera GT5. That's why we said Season 3 was better than before. There were more new cars. But there you go. The Abarth Bart is a return from older Forza games, the Stradale as well, and the Huracan too, returning from Forza Motorsport. And then Season 4, well, here it is, a new car, a duplicate Camaro, and then 3 cars returning from older Forza games. There are too many cars that were deliberately removed from this Horizon 6 between Horizon 5 and Horizon 6 just to add them back later as free content through the festival playlist system. Like here, honestly, they went too far. They had already done this a bit with Horizon 5, where some cars from Horizon 4 or even Horizon 3 disappeared, but this time they went so far that it doesn't make any sense anymore. The problem is that the developers forgot that the people who stay the longest on a Forza Horizon game aren't the ones discovering Forza Horizon through Game Pass, or those who, let's say, get taken in by the waves of advertising campaigns when the game comes out, the ones who really stick around on Forza Horizon for a long time. It's mainly the hardcore players who've already embraced the concept for several games. And the hardcore players, those who have already been long-term Forza Horizon players, they don't want to play Forza Horizon 6 just to unlock cars they've already had for 10 years in Forza. In the end, the festival playlist system and the content added each month is a system that actually penalizes the long-time loyal Forza Horizon fans even more than the new players, who actually feel like there's a lot of new content. Third big problem. FOMO still hasn't disappeared, even though the developers had promised that it would. FOMO is what I explained to you earlier. It's the fact that you have to play the game at a certain time, especially through the festival playlist system, to unlock certain cars in the game. It's the well-known system that all of Forza Horizon 4 and Horizon 5 and part of Horizon 6 rely on to basically force you to play. The festival playlist, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes we don't play it because we want to play the game, but simply because we want to make sure we don't miss a car in our collection. The game has been out for 4 months, but developers still haven't explained how FOMO was supposed to be removed from Forza Horizon 6. It's still exactly the same system. The only thing that has changed a little is that indeed, in Season 2 of Forza Horizon 6, they made it possible to win some cars from Season 1 again. So let me show you that. For example, the Lotus Exige, the Countach, the Chopin, the Ford, or the Saleen S7 S70M. All of those were reward cars from Season 1, but it's a system they didn't continue in Season 3 or Season 4. So right now, FOMO is still present, and it's still very much there. Currently, there's no other way to unlock these rewards except by participating in the festival playlist, which we don't want to do. Fifth problem, the game feels a bit empty. Now, the map is gorgeous, no doubt about it. The map in Forza Horizon 6 is stunning. Wherever you go, there's always something beautiful to look at. It's incredibly detailed, even things that are really far away, even things that are a bit hidden. You take a small path, you go to places that are, let's say, a bit obscure, where almost no one goes. Well, the game will have exactly the same level of detail as in the center of Tokyo. So for sure, at that level, you can't criticize Horizon 6. The map is truly extraordinary. The problem is, it still feels a little bit empty, though. Yet, there are a lot of people on Forza Horizon 6. But the way the multiplayer in Forza Horizon 6 is designed makes the game feel a little bit empty. For example, you have Daikoku, which is the parking lot for races in Forza Horizon 6. There's nobody there. Whereas in reality, it's a place the developers really focused on during the game's promotion, showing us images with real gatherings of 10, 15, even 20 cars. Now, when you go there, there's nothing at all. It's very rare to even come across 1 or 2 players having a meetup. So that's a small example, but it's the same on the highway. You rarely see other players. For instance, you can't really do one-gun style races. The drag meets, well, it's the same. They're a bit empty. The time attacks too, actually. Everything, all the things that were supposed to make the multiplayer in Forza Horizon 6 more lively and to make sure there's always something happening on the map. All of that, for now, has been a failure. It's flopped. You just have to look at the drag meets, the time attacks. That creates a strong sense of emptiness, especially since there's little traffic on the highways. You can drive kilometers without seeing many people. And that's a bit of a shame when you know that Forza Horizon 6 is more than capable of doing it. And it's a bit of a shame when you know that with certain mods on PC, for example, you can multiply the traffic in Forza Horizon 6 by 15, for example, without any technical problems. So we have a map that's truly beautiful, with a lot of very interesting roads, much more hilly, much more winding, and much more varied than the one in Horizon 5 or Horizon 4. But in the end, we find exactly the same emptiness, especially in multiplayer, as in Horizon 5, which, by the way, was a completely deserted map. I think that's because Forza Horizon 6's multiplayer is designed just like Horizon 5's, and somewhat like Horizon 4's. Actually, we have a dynamic server system, which makes it very difficult to find random players to play with, and which makes it very difficult to find multiplayer games where you can really get involved. Actually, the problem with Forza Horizon 6 is that when you're playing multiplayer, you're constantly changing servers. Like really, all the time, seamlessly. You don't realize it, but the game actually teleports you to servers where there are supposed to be players near you. It's supposed to work well, and it's supposed to make sure you always feel like there are people around you. And it was the same on Horizon 5. This system doesn't work. That's it. It's as simple as that. The worst part is that Forza Horizon 6 uses large servers. I think they're 72-player servers, and with a map like Forza Horizon 6, which is large but not massive, players usually end up in the same areas. With this system, we should always see a few people nearby, on the same map. People we could join for car meets, races, or drifting. Whatever. The thing is, it just doesn't work. For that to happen, developers, and especially Xbox, would absolutely need to stop with this floating server nonsense and go back to traditional multiplayer server systems, like it was back in Horizon 4 and Horizon 3. Back then, when we played multiplayer, we were on a fixed server. It didn't change. We knew exactly how many players were connected, we knew exactly who was connected, and we had the player list visible. We could always see them on the mini-map. We could join them and play with them without players randomly appearing or disappearing. It was much easier to interact with them. For a whole bunch of other reasons, and we'll talk about that later in this video, because that's also one of the problems with this Forza Horizon 6. But the server system like that is something that generally doesn't work. By the way, all the games that implement this kind of system, it doesn't work. Look at The Crew, look at Test Drive. The best and what always works is the old school servers, either private servers or dedicated servers with, well, a limited number of slots, you connect if there's space, and you don't have to change servers. At least you always know where the players are, and you know where to go to meet people and start activities with them. Above all, during Forza Horizon 3 and partly Horizon 4, we had servers where you could see many more people at once. Honestly, on Horizon 6, that's almost impossible. If you play, let's say, with randoms, using the normal matchmaking in Forza Horizon 6, it's almost impossible to find areas where there are more than 3 or 4 players together. Whereas back in the days of private servers in Forza Horizon 3, for example, it was possible to join areas where there were 8, 9, 10, even 12 players in the same place, and right away, car meets or other activities were much more satisfying. And actually, another big problem with multiplayer is that it's simply no longer possible to contact other players, no longer possible to communicate with them. There's no more voice chat. That was already the case in Horizon 5, but in Horizon 6, there's also no text chat. That means the only way to communicate with other players is to use Forza Link. These are little phrases that are already preset and already written into the game, which you can use by pressing the appropriate arrow on your controller. Forza Link isn't very precise. When you want to communicate with another player, it doesn't truly allow it. Most phrases are general and often lack meaning. But above all, because of this system, it's impossible to create connections with players you meet randomly. Before, on Horizon 3, Horizon 4, Monto, when you met someone randomly, someone who wasn't on your friends list, if you liked their car or wanted to race with them, you just needed to turn on your mic, chat with the person, and then you could eventually start activities together, stay in touch, or at least create some kind of connection that made you stay longer in the game. Now, since there's no more voice chat on Horizon 5 and Horizon 6, well, that's gone. So you can't talk with other players anymore when you meet them to organize activities, and you can't talk with players during a race either. For example, the test. You see the trial events, so I'll show you for those who don't know. These are the events now called Face-Off on Horizon 6. These are events that are a bit hardcore. Having the microphone enabled during an event would at least allow you to communicate with other players to set up strategies to win. Even just to remind other players, those you haven't necessarily been in contact with for a long time. One of the ways to win the face-off isn't necessarily to come in first, but to block the AI that's behind you, so that the other players, who are even further behind, can catch up and win. Even just that, it's not possible. You also can't talk with players in car meets, in car gatherings, even though it's supposed to be a place to meet people. We're supposed to ask players about things like how they tuned their car, what customization they used, or what settings they used. But that's not possible. And it's really a shame, because actually the developers did this so that Forza Horizon 6 would really be a game for everyone, and so it wouldn't be possible anymore to get insulted through written messages in the game, or through the microphone. But the thing is, well, first of all, getting trolled, getting insulted, getting mocked, that's just part of a multiplayer game. You know, you take any other multiplayer game in the world that's doing well. You take Counter-Strike, for example, Call of Duty, whatever. Yeah, there are toxic people. Yeah, there are people who troll, but that's also just part of a multiplayer game, actually. If someone wants to insult you, they'll find a way. They might skip in-game messaging and send a private message on Xbox Live instead. If they want to insult you, they'll do it. And what I don't understand is, why not just do it like in Horizon 4, just put back a system that you can turn on or off? You know, a simple on-off button for the mic. If you don't want to listen to other players, if you don't want to communicate with them, you just turn it off. And if you do want to communicate, you turn it on. It would be great to have that back, especially with proximity voice chat, which would let you talk specifically with people who are around you on the map. This lack of communication makes some multiplayer modes just plain bad. Like the car meet, for example. We were all glad the car meet returned in Forza Horizon 6 after it disappeared following Forza Horizon 3. The problem is, well, the concept is back, but it's much less developed and usable than it was in Horizon 3, mainly because we can't communicate. If, for example, I go to a car meet and park, first of all, we can't communicate with other players, which is a shame. But on top of that, there are a lot of things we just can't do in this car meet mode, in this auto-gathering mode, which is a bit disappointing. For example, something really simple, there's no free camera mode. Like here, I can't move around the car that's displayed on the screen. I can't look at it from the back without going through photo mode or cinematic camera mode. Switching to photo mode or cinematic camera isn't always convenient, doesn't always show what you want, and it's frustrating to navigate multiple menus for something that should be simple. For example, also being able to open up the cars, a kind of Forza Vista that would let you see the interior of customized cars, that would be cool too. And then there's not even the option we used to have back in the days of Horizon 3, which allowed you to display the car's data precisely. Now, basically, when I look at a car in the parking lot at the car meet, I see the car's name, the player's name, and the car's performance class, but there's no technical info anymore about its weight, the car's power, whether it's all-wheel drive, or if it's been swapped. All that, it's kind of a flop, actually, for this car meet mode. So it's really a mode that misses the point. Actually, the point of a car meet, I'm not sure if you've ever been to one, It's about being able to talk with people, to know what they've done to their car, to simply talk with people about why they chose a particular car. Well, it's like in real life. If you take away that possibility at a car meet, it's like going to a dealership. It's not fun. Well, that's exactly what this is. The issue with this mode in Horizon 6, even though it was heavily promoted, unfortunately, this isn't the only mode that got some attention but ultimately changes little. That leads me to the game's second major problem. There are quite a few new features like this car meet that ultimately lack depth. For example, the garage and house customization system. Well, it's cool that they added it. It's the first time we've had something like this in Forza Horizon, but it doesn't go far enough to really be interesting, because honestly, once you've customized your garage and invited players in, there's actually no social interaction inside. It's really limited. You also can't communicate with the players. You really can't do much, actually. Even moving around, walking in the garage, take a closer look at your friend's garage or their cars, that's not possible. That's really a shame. So here I'm talking to you about the garages and the car meet mode, but even the drag meets and the time attack, even though they're pretty cool modes, they're more like game modes that have just been added rather than fully finished concrete modes. I feel like they tried out some things with this Forza Horizon 6 without really seeing them through, thinking that if people like it, they'll build on it for Forza Horizon 7 to improve those features. But as a result, it's true that, for example, features like time attack don't really feel that new. I mean, time attack is nice because you can actually do it in multiplayer. It's similar to Rivals mode, but without the loading times. That's basically it. But there are a lot of little things that could have been added, which would have made this mode a bit more fun to play. Being able to upgrade and adjust your car in the pits without going home, then testing the settings right on the nearby track would have been cool. Or a spectator mode that would let you watch a specific player in time attack, see their racing line, maybe even their settings, and then try to get inspired by that to simply try to improve yourself. They repeated the same mistake with clubs as in Horizon 4 and 5, but it's worse in Horizon 6 since there's no club system at all now. So you can't be part of a team anymore. You can't really represent your club anymore, let's say. In Horizon 5 and Horizon 4, they had already started messing things up a bit on that point compared to Horizon 3. Because in Horizon 3, we actually had a real club system that was cool. We had a club system that allowed you to have your team's tag, that allowed you to join with several hundred players. And there was a goal because actually, back in Horizon 3, the club systems let you earn money every week based on the rank your club reached. We received a check at the end of the week based on the XP earned in the club. This motivated everyone to play for the largest check each week or month. I can't recall exactly, but it was a regular system, so you could earn money just by playing the game because it was motivating to level up your club. The clubs were ranked, so for example, if you followed a YouTuber, you could try to farm as much as possible so that this YouTuber's club would get ahead of another YouTuber's club, or simply so that your team would get ahead of another team of other players, not necessarily just the YouTuber. But there was also a bit of rivalry within the club, because there was a ranking inside the club. Every week, you could see who was the most active player, who played the most, who brought the most XP to the club, and who brought in the most money. So that was pretty cool too. There was a system I never used, but it existed and may have been useful to some. It was possible to post club notes, meaning that the club president or those who were authorized could write a message on the club's homepage, which could be used, for example, to organize an event. You could say, for example, well, I don't know, on August 24th, we're having a Japanese car meet at such and such a place. Or say, well, on that day, we're organizing a championship, this or that race, this or that car. That made it possible to bring together the members of your club, since clubs could have up to 2,000 members. And to regularly organize things with members of the community or with members of your club, without necessarily having to go through Discord or external social networks, which are sometimes, well, annoying to use. Even if it didn't completely change the gameplay to have clubs like that in Forza Horizon 3, well, it added a little extra touch, a little extra motivation to play. Actually, just by wanting your club to be well ranked, we would do things together as club members to help it progress. 10th big problem, and we won't dwell on this because everyone knows it's an issue and we've been talking about it for 15 years anyway, there's not enough customization in Forza Horizon 6. So yes, we do have a bit more than in Horizon 5, but for a game set in Japan, having just 3 kits to choose from for cars like the Supra is really disappointing. especially when you look back in time and see how things were. Back in the days of Motorsport 4, there were quite a few cars, especially Japanese ones. But not only those, there were also German cars and others that actually had more customization options than in Horizon 6. So, there aren't enough body kits, not enough bumpers, spoilers. The rims are fine though. The rims are, okay, there are 300 models of rims in there. They did an amazing job with that, that's for sure. It's cool. But there are still too many customization options missing. I mean, the exhausts, the neon lights, the vehicle stance. Just a little bit of customization on the inside too, since all the other games out there are starting to offer it. There comes a point where, yeah, I know you don't play Forza for customization. For customization, if you want a game with customization, you go for Need for Speed or The Crew. But when the community has been asking for something for 15 years, and after 15 years, it's still not there, even though we all know that more customization would be a real big plus for the game, at some point, there really needs to be. Xbox needs to question itself a little bit, because that's really serious, especially for a game set in Japan, where everyone was expecting a lot more customization. There's a little more, but it's still not enough. And especially for me, the thing that really annoys me, to put it nicely, is that if at least they removed 200 cars from Horizon 5 only to reintroduce them as updates in Horizon 6. The famous recycled cars we discussed earlier could be fine if they offered a bit more customization than in Horizon 5, giving us something new to rediscover. You're talking, for example, about the 97 Nissan R33 that we've already had in a bunch of Forza games before. If you remove it from Forza Horizon 5, Horizon 6, just to give it back to me later in an update. And then when I launch the game and unlock it again, I realize that now there are actually 10 body kits, whereas back in Horizon 5, there were only 2. Well, then I'd say, okay. It was worth waiting for it to come back to the game. It was worth removing it if it meant it would be remodeled with more customization. But that's not even the case here. There just isn't enough customization, really. 11th problem, and this one just appeared in the game, and unfortunately, I think it's only the beginning. Some DLCs are actually just recycled paid content. So for example, if you look at Porsche, with the arrival of Season 4, we learned that the Ford Thunderbird and the Porsche AG 961, which used to be free cars in Forza Motorsport, have become paid DLCs in Forza Horizon 6. And honestly, that's really annoying. I don't think it's acceptable to ask players to pay for content they can get completely free just by launching an older Forza game. So really, you get Forza Motorsport 4 for free on PC, you play the career mode. I think at level 2 or level 3, you unlock the Ford Thunderbird for free, and you can drive it with really excellent physics, because Motorsport 4 has excellent physics. If you want the same car with similar customizations in Horizon 6, you'll likely pay more, since, as I've explained, many cars are removed from old Forza games and reappear in new ones without real updates. That's just not acceptable. And honestly, for this to happen so soon in Forza Horizon 6, just 4 months after the game's release, it's not a good sign at all. In my opinion, it's not the last time we're going to see this kind of thing. I really wouldn't be surprised if it happens again in Seasons 5, 6, and 7. We get 1 or 2 cars each time that are paid cars, coming back from previous Forza games where they were free. And honestly, that's unacceptable. I mean, it's incomprehensible. Especially since, in my opinion, with this system, they're really shooting themselves in the foot in the long run. Because up until now, we trusted the developers when we bought the car passes in advance. That's the general problem with Horizon. When you buy the car pass, which is included in the premium edition of Forza Horizon 6, you're actually buying in advance about 30 to 40 new cars that will be added to the game without knowing in advance what they're going to be. Sometimes there are pleasant surprises, such as the Koenigsegg Gemera. Sometimes there are bad surprises, like the Nissan Patrol. But sometimes there are even worse surprises, like having to pay for content that used to be free. And the problem is, if they keep doing this kind of thing, we'll end up with players who, if Horizon 7 ever comes out, won't trust the car pass anymore and won't buy it in advance. Not until several months later, until they're sure that all the cars included are actually new and are cars they're interested in. Over time, players will become less willing to pay upfront for this content without knowing what's included. Another thing that a lot of you have pointed out, and honestly, it's something I hadn't used at all, but there's the world, what do they call it? The evolving world of Forza Horizon 6. So the evolving world of Forza Horizon 6, it doesn't make any sense. So the evolving world means that in Forza Horizon 6, with every season or almost every season, we're going to have a small change to the map. For example, this month they showed that when you go to the Forza Horizon 6 stadium, which is normally completely empty, instead, during this Season 4, it's decorated inside with a new special track for Time Attack. So that's pretty nice. So let's say that even if it's not much, of course we would prefer if Tokyo was expanded, for example, season after season, or if there were real changes to the roads. Even if it's not much, it's cool. So it adds new free content, it creates a new area that's going to evolve a little, that's going to be modified a bit. The question we're asking, the problem with this system, is why remove these new features from the evolving world at the end of a season when there's nothing replacing them afterwards? Actually, that's the problem with the evolving world in Forza, and it was already the case back in the days of Horizon 5. They customized the map temporarily for a season, and at the end of the season, that customization is removed. So, either replaced by something else or by nothing. For example, when the stadium is set up with a small circuit one season, and then must become a NASCAR track the next, I understand. But here, for example, there's a good chance that at the end of this Season 4, the stadium will go back to how it was before Season 4, meaning completely empty with just a simple soccer field, and that nothing will replace the track we have in the stadium. I don't understand why they don't just keep the map changes instead of adding them, removing them, and sometimes replacing them with things that are less interesting. I have no problem with the stadium staying decorated like this, even until Season 6, 7, or 8, until there's a new stadium decoration offered to the players. Same with the temporary Italian car dealership. Indeed, in Season 3, they set up a special dealership next to the stadium, where it was possible, if you were lucky, to buy very rare cars that you could normally only get through wheel spins or super wheel spin. It was cool, though still complicated to get those rare cars. Honestly, you had to be very lucky for them to appear at that famous Italian dealership. But for some reason, they decided to remove it. There you go. It was here, right where I am currently in the car. Here, you have an NSX and a Toyota Tacoma. The previous season, there were only Italian cars, and sometimes rare cars would show up. Well, that's not the case here. It was removed, and honestly, before the special Italian car dealership comes back, I think it will take many, many months. Maybe it will never happen. Who knows why, but Xbox decided it would be a good idea for Forza Horizon 6 to keep game modes like Eliminator or Hide and Seek, which aren't very popular modes and are even avoided by some players. Honestly, I like Eliminator, but being forced to play it just to earn 3 festival playlist points from time to time annoys me. I want to be able to do what I want without the game forcing me. Why did they keep the Eliminator? And especially the Hide and Seek modes, which are modes that aren't liked by the community? Or, well, overall, while having removed an iconic mode from the Forza games, I think it even goes back to Forza Horizon 2, the famous arenas. The arenas where you could play multiplayer minigames, like Tag Mode, Flag Mode, King Mode, modes that were a bit more chill, that had their own meta, that were fun and quick to play. Matchmaking was really fast. It was fun, and a nice break from regular multiplayer races. Well, who knows why they removed that mode when it was generally popular, or at least it wasn't an unpopular mode. It was hard to say that people hated it. They removed it to focus everything on Hide and Seek and the Eliminator instead, which are much more, how should I put it, divisive. I think that's the word. So indeed, maybe the minigame mode will come back later with another season. Maybe we'll have arenas where we can play those little modes. In the meantime, well, it's such a shame to have removed something the community liked just to focus on something much more divisive instead. Another major issue is the festival section's selection and its difficulty. While we have a team-based mode that's going to be almost impossible precisely because of the lack of communication with other players, since clearly players aren't always at the top level when it comes to strategy, they only care about themselves, push you into walls, and don't get that it's a team game, so you often have to restart. Ironically, the other festival section championships are far too easy. Actually, in Forza Horizon 6, you can no longer choose the difficulty level for the seasonal championships. So here, for example, let me show you a quick example. This one. There you go, the championships here. You can't choose the difficulty. The default settings are set to an ultra easy difficulty. I don't want to be wrong, but I think in this mode, the AI is set to tourist by default. That means basically, even if you're not good at the game, even if you're really among the worst players, you'll still be able to easily win your seasonal championships, because there's no difficulty at all. I'm not suggesting Forza Horizon 6 should be as tough as earning gold licenses in Gran Turismo 7. But what's the point of forcing players to do championships that let them win exclusive rewards? Anyway, they're sure to win this championship, even with their eyes closed. What's the point? What's the motivation? What's the challenge? There's another thing I forgot to mention, and that I'm quickly adding while editing this video. But it's the same. It's a well-known problem. We know that the economy in Horizon 6 is completely broken. There's something they misjudged in Forza Horizon 6, and that's the way you earn money. There were too many glitches in this game that took too long to fix, and at the same time, they fixed things that didn't need to be fixed. It was a huge mistake to add an automatic driving mode. It was obvious that players would find a way to use this glitch to farm money while they were AFK. And now, the only solution the developers found to prevent us from abusing this system is simply to set a maximum amount that you can't exceed at the end of a race, even when you're playing completely normally. Even if you do, for example, the Goliath, you do 30 laps in the end, you can only earn 500,000 credits, because now, no matter what kind of activity you do, you can't pocket more than 500,000 credits at once. So we have an economy that's completely messed up, that makes no sense, with races that don't pay anything, while the only thing that really pays off are the glitches. For those who play legitimately, the game takes a really long time to grind. And for those who use glitches, well, they already have everything, and after 2 weeks, the game isn't interesting anymore. There's another problem with Forza Horizon 6, and that's communication. We already discussed in a previous video that pre-release communication for the game wasn't great. Whether it's the way they presented the game, the lack of live streams to interact with the community, or even the YouTubers they chose to showcase the gameplay, especially IGN. Remember, the released gameplay was terrible. We already knew that, but the problem is that the bad communication from Forza Horizon 6 continues. Actually, the main problem with Forza Horizon 6 is that it feels like we're talking to a wall. You see what I mean? We complain on the forums, we complain on social media about things that have been wrong since the game came out, and it's like nothing ever changes. It's really just them burying their heads in the sand. Like, on their social media, they act like everything is fine. They do their little photo contest, they post pictures from the game, and every week they announce when a new car is coming to the game with some catchy phrase. If you check the comments on these posts across any social media, you'll see the game is getting roasted. People keep complaining about the same problems, saying they just don't care now. Unlocking a car that nobody cares about. And on the other hand, we get no feedback from the developers, from Xbox. We don't know if the main problems of the game are going to be fixed. We don't know what's being prepared later on to make us enjoy the game. We know absolutely nothing, and that's really frustrating. Because clearly, if I have a problem with the game, and the devs tell us, this problem is known, we're working on it, in a month it will be patched. Or, yeah, we know that for now you haven't liked the cars, but we're working on something that you'll enjoy. Just to get things back on track in 2 or 3 months, well, at least, right now, we know nothing. Right now, we don't know how long it's going to last like this. How many completely useless updates we're going to have to put up with in a row, for who knows how long. And yeah, the communication around this game is a disaster. There are no live streams, no interaction between the developers and the community, and there are not even any more Torben Tuesdays. The Torben Tuesdays, it's really like the studio is in a bubble, getting its orders from Xbox and can't communicate properly with the players. And that's extremely unfortunate. And by the way, I think that maybe leads us mainly to the biggest problem with this Forza Horizon 6, this lack of communication and interaction between the community and Xbox, the developers. So in the end, the big problem with the game is that the devs and Xbox no longer understand what makes a Forza good. For example, the festival section system boosts weekly engagement by encouraging players to log in every Thursday. But it could be so much better if the developers had been listening to us since Horizon 5. If Xbox especially had been listening to us since Horizon 5. There isn't much to change, but it could be so much better. Even just by varying the events a lot more. Maybe having fewer of them, but making them more interesting to complete with a little story. No matter what, I think with this system, there would be a way to do something really cool and really motivating. Same with car meetups. They added the feature, but not the interactions. It's similar for train stations. Servers connect players, but they're never really together, and there's no voice chat. It's impossible to create communities, there are no clubs, so, well, it's impossible to create connections between players that way. Recycling cars and DLCs, well, doesn't make for new content, but without any new experience for longtime Forza players. There are so many things that could be amazing in this Forza Horizon 6, but that miss the essentials, that you can really wonder if it's not on purpose, actually. What's worse is that every time we're so close, it really wouldn't take much for this Forza Horizon 6 to be truly excellent. And I think, unfortunately, the things the developers are working on aren't really the things that are actually necessary. Come on, dev. Right now, they're preparing partnerships with McDonald's. For us guys, they've added a McDonald's partnership. They've added a Lego partnership. But what we're asking for is clubs, voice chat, and a festival section system that's a bit less repetitive. If you just fix those three things, I think the game will take off again. In the meantime, well, it's true that Horizon 6, which just came out, is already showing some signs of being a game at the end of its life. Actually, I feel like I'm seeing the same anger and frustration from you, the community, and even outside, from subscribers of other YouTubers, from players on social media. I feel like I'm already seeing the same level of frustration and disappointment toward this Forza Horizon 6 as we saw with Horizon 5, 3 or 4 years after its release. There's something about it that makes Horizon 6, even though it's likely the best Forza on paper, with great physics and map, feel different. There's something that just makes the formula not work anymore, actually. And now it has upset the players at an unbelievable speed. It's a shame because this Horizon 6 was really the biggest Forza at its launch, but they missed the mark. They didn't manage to create a Forza Horizon that players want to play and immerse themselves in for years. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have some good surprises. Maybe, once again, it's just because it's summer and they're doing some chaotic updates just to pad things out. But later, we'll get some crazy stuff. I hope so. I really hope that's the case. I hope that behind the scenes, they're preparing some big things to address our main issues so that, well, this bad launch of Forza Horizon 6 will just be a bad memory. That's it. So we'll see how it turns out. In any case, if you relate to these things, leave a comment, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe because I keep making videos about the game, testing new content, and following the updates. If something cool is added to the game, I'll talk about it in a video. And remember to use my story link that you can find below this video, which allows you to support me, support my content, and support my videos for free by buying your games much cheaper through secondhand deals. I'll give you an example. Horizon 6 is 50 euros cheaper through my link. Now, it's not necessarily the best example when you're making a 30-minute video pointing out all the problems with the game. But keep in mind that you can find these discounts on a whole bunch of other games, and you can also get them for Game Pass cards, PSN, and everything that goes with it. So there you go. I hope things improve soon. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you soon. Bye.